Hi Cubies, here's your Alexandra and welcome to another video. I have watched last week a video from Ninjon and he presented some markers. In this video he also presented the real markers here from AK Interactive, and well, I found them quite interesting, and so I bought not the entire set, but just the 12 bright colors in the set, not the metallics and not the dark colors, simply because we have all seen that painting miniatures with markers as a base coat is a very bad idea, because the tips are quite large, and if you have a miniature like, for example, a Tyranid, it's quite hard to reach places with that. And so for base coating I wouldn't use them, but I thought to myself, what if we use them to enhance speed painting techniques like slap chop, or using colored spray primers and a wash, and then apply some highlights quick and easy. How are they compared in that way? So what I've bought me here are the following colors: flat white, then we have an off-white, then we have two kinds of skin tone or brown colors or beige colors, dunkelgelb and elfenbein ivory. Then in the green department we have here hellgrau light gray and Mitsubishi interior green. Then in the blue shades there was not much to grab. Strangely, some of the markers don't have a name. This is just RLM76. This here is Russian cockpit turquoise. Then in the yellow department we have here also one without a name, RLM79, and yellow RAL. And then orange and red, I have here signal red RAL, and orange RAL. Yeah, those are the colors that I've purchased. And what I've prepared here is a Tyranid Termagant. First my normal color scheme, and then I've just applied some Agrax Earthshade here to the miniature, that we have shadows. So this is flat red, and here we have now red with a shade. And well, let's see how we can use those markers. So first of all, let's examine the tip a little bit more in depth. It's a felt tip. It's let's see, yeah, relatively firm, and it is already loaded, so I don't have to push any bags or something like that. It comes preloaded, and the amount of paint that is releasing is quite normal, I would say. So let's just start to apply here. Let's see how that goes. It's more of a, I would say, pinkish red instead of a bold bright red. So if you compare that to this red, yeah, let's paint directly on this one here. Yeah, you see directly it is quite a lot more pinkish than the bright red I've used on this miniature. This was, I believe, Evil Sunz Scarlet from Games Workshop, the bright red from the Citadel range. Yeah, but we can definitely highlight with that. So let's continue with that real quick. So the handling is just like any pencil or marker. It's not too thick in the would say, in the tube department here. So let's see how we can like very gently overbrush. Now the amount of paint that is releasing is not particularly good in preserving here the details. So for example, this casing here, you see the color is already flowing into the recess. You can't really just gently overbrush something. Let's do just the tip. Yeah, with just the pointy tip you can be very precise, as you can see here. Then we have a little bit of flow into the recess, but it's not too bad. Let's see how good he is in some cramped spaces here. Let's try some precise application. It's definitely not easier than using the brush tip. Well, one big pro what these brushes have, you don't need a big setup. You don't need to start your palette, you don't have to get your paints out, you don't need paint water, you don't need paper towels, you don't need anything. Just flip open the marker and you are good to go, and when you're done you close the cap. Let's actually paint the top of the cap that we can directly see the color, and when you're done, you're done. You can go and do something else. So let's try the orange now. Oh, we can also put the cap on the back here. I hope my camera is focusing correctly and not constantly making it here blurry. Some things you definitely can't do with this markers is wet blending or glazing or some other techniques. Also, I think how you hold the pen is very important. So if you make it flat or something like that, if you have tiny hair on the front, let's remove that. Well, I think with a bit of practice you can achieve quite some nice things with those markers. Yeah. Also, the orange is more of a, I would say, lux color. The fish, lux, I don't know. Semen, I believe it's in English. Semen color. Rather than a bold orange. So let's take the yellow. Let's see how that compares here. Make a tiny dot. Yeah, that's definitely something that is good for Turnits. I think Ninjon also has noticed that. This is good for patterns on Turnits. If you want to make like dotted patterns on your Turnit. Why don't we test that? Let's see. Let's take here the turquoise, for example, and make some dots on the carapace. Why not? Maybe in different sizes. Yeah, that's nice. Maybe work some stripes or something like that. Maybe some bigger dots like that. And then we go in with maybe the off-white. Very gently, barely touching. Yeah. Okay, and now let's do the one thing that you've all been waiting for, edge highlighting. Let's see how good this is with edge highlighting. So I'm barely touching. Yeah, so for surfaces that are inside the miniature, I would say, it's definitely challenging, to say the least. I'm really just barely touching, and the amount of color that this marker is releasing it's quite a lot. So for example, if I just slightly press, it's a very thick line, you see? It's now very gently touching here. Can manage to make it very not as fine as I am able with a brush. Good thing though, you're not prone to have your marker tip dry out. So if you have an outside edge, yeah, that's working. We can work with that. Let's take maybe a different miniature. Let's see, what do we have here? That's a little bit dusty. So, for example, at this hammer here. Let's see. Very gently. Yeah, that's good. So, let's use the far end of the marker, how that behaves. Yeah, you have a little bit more control with the far end. I guess it's a little bit stiffer in the consistency in the back end, and so it's better to make really, really nice edge highlights with that. I must say that kind of works. So let's test here on the curved surface. It's hard. So overall, would I throw away my brush and only use the markers? Definitely not. Definitely not. What would I use them for? Maybe some edge cases. Like here, this edge highlighting on a blade surface. Like here, this hammer. This is absolutely crisp, as you can see. Very nice and neat line. Then here are the dots on the turret. That worked really nice. The edge highlighting on the armor plate on a rough surface here inside the miniature, not so much. I would fare better with a brush there. Let's see how it goes with highlighting a cloth surface. Like, let's say we take this blue here, and we will now try to highlight that. So we go with the turquoise in. Okay, like that. Don't forget to paint the cap. And then we take here the lighter blue. No, I'm not convinced. You're not precise enough with this brush. Well, marker, not brush, but you know what I mean, the brush tip. Okay, and here the consistency of the paint wasn't good enough with a one-stroke cover. So I have to go over it multiple times to get a coverage, and then it's unprecise. Now for highlighting, that's not good on clothes. Yeah, I guess about 20 minutes is a good time to stop for the testing here. I think we have tested quite a lot of these markers, how they work. I hope you like this little video, and the price point of those markers is €2 per marker. So if you're interested in that, yeah. So much for me, for you, and well, we see us in the next video. You're Alexandra. Bye.